This is Jennifer Hayden bringing you From Chaos to Confidence, Formative Assessment in Band. Every band director knows the struggle. You stand in front of your ensemble, and suddenly 15 trumpets are playing fourth line D, while 10 flutes are playing above the staff C. Who's sharp? Who's flat? Who is just plain lost? In that moment, it feels almost impossible to give every student meaningful feedback. Too often in instrumental music education, assessment happens only at the very end of a rehearsal cycle through chair tests, formal evaluations, or concerts. By then, it's too late to help students make meaningful changes. The assessment becomes a score, not a tool for learning. That's why my innovation plan and my recent article focus on embedding formative assessment into daily rehearsals. With the help of digital tools like Edpuzzle, Smart Music, and Tonal Energy, students can receive feedback in the moment. This does not just improve their musical skills, it builds engagement, independence, and confidence. When students own their growth, rehearsals become more efficient, performances become stronger, and the entire learning process feels more authentic. In many classrooms, formative assessment is still misunderstood. By definition, formative assessment is about gathering feedback during instruction so it can guide teaching and learning. But in music education, we often miss that opportunity. Think about a typical rehearsal. The director does almost all the assessing. I'm the one who listens, diagnoses, and corrects. If I stop rehearsal to fix the trumpets, the flutes, the clarinets, and the percussion just have to sit and wait. And while I'm talking, no one is playing. The cycle is inefficient, and students miss their chance to self-assess in real time. Administrators face challenges too. They want to know, how do you measure musical growth? It's not enough to say, I can hear it. Without concrete data, music teachers often struggle to advocate for our programs. This lack of visible evidence can make it harder to secure funding, explain student progress, or justify the time and resources that music education deserves. The bottom line is this: without formative assessment tools, both teachers and students lose valuable opportunities to grow. One of the first tools I explored was Edpuzzle. I actually started using it during remote learning when I needed a way to keep students engaged outside of the classroom. I discovered how powerful it was for teaching music theory. Here's how it works. I can record lessons that I create with Google Slides and Screencastify. I then upload them into Edpuzzle and add embedded questions. The platform automatically grades the responses, and I can see instantly which concepts students are struggling with. I can then use the Grade Transferer app on Google Chrome to transfer our grades into our LMS. This provides not just a score, but actionable information. In practice, this meant that I could assign a video on key signatures, see that half the class missed a certain question, and then reteach that specific concept in rehearsal. Instead of guessing, I had clear evidence. Even after remote learning, Edpuzzle has remained a useful tool. I can use it to enforce literacy skills, to provide subplans when I'm out, or to build student learning objectives or SLOs. The beauty is that students can engage at their own pace while I gain concrete data that supports instruction and demonstrates accountability. For administrators, this is invaluable. Edpuzzle shows that music literacy is measurable, rigorous, and worthy of the same attention as core subjects. Another tool that transformed formative assessment is Smart Music, now known as Make Music. This platform has an extensive library of repertoire, including UIL prescribed music list pieces, scales, and exercises. Directors can assign specific practice tracks, and students record themselves playing. What happens next is powerful. Smart Music provides instant feedback on rhythm, pitch, and accuracy. Students don't have to wait for me to tell them if they're right or wrong. They see it on the screen immediately. On the back end, the platform logs practice data, completion rates, and progress over time. When I assign these recordings, I still listen to them myself because nothing replaces a director's ear. But having the auto grading and the logs gives me a head start. It saves me hours of rehearsal time and provides parents and administrators with hard evidence of student growth. For students, this shifts the culture. Instead of seeing practice as guesswork, they begin to view it as a cycle of feedback and improvement. For administrators, it means music education suddenly comes with graphs, data, and measurable outcomes. And for me, it means I can focus more on artistry in rehearsal because of the foundational skills that are being reinforced outside of class. The centerpiece of my innovation plan is Tonal Energy, paired with a classroom set of iPads. This app provides instant visual and auditory feedback on pitch and tone. Students see their intonation in real time, which allows them to self-correct before I even stop rehearsal. This tool levels the playing field. Instead of only the strongest players getting consistent feedback, every student gets access to the same support. And by putting the responsibility in the student's hands, it builds independence. Research backs this up. Palazone and Giraldez found that technology-supported feedback improves accuracy and develops stronger listening skills. Fick and Bulgren emphasize that these tools build confidence and independence in young musicians. The innovation plan matters because it ensures equity. Without district-provided devices, only the students who can afford their own smartphones or tablets would benefit. A classroom set guarantees that every student has access every day. Yes, there are roadblocks such as funding, district approval, and training, but I believe this is worth fighting for because the long-term payoff is enormous. A classroom where students are constantly engaged in self-assessment isn't just more efficient, it's more empowering. So what difference do these tools really make? Let's look at the impact through multiple lenses. For students, the benefit is independence. They no longer wait passively for the director's approval. Instead, they learn to trust their own ears and eyes, making adjustment in real time. That sense of ownership builds confidence, not just as musicians, but as learners. For directors, these tools save time and improve focus. Instead of spending entire rehearsals on pitch and rhythm basics, we can move towards artistry, expression, and ensemble sound. Rehearsals become more musical because the foundational work is happening more efficiently. For parents and caretakers, there's greater transparency. With Edpuzzle, Smart Music, and Tonal Energy, parents and caretakers can actually see the data, hear the recordings, and watch their child improve. That builds trust in the program. And for administrators, these tools provide measurable evidence. Numbers, progress logs, and assessment rubrics replace vague statements like, I can just tell they're doing better. This makes it easier to advocate for funding, staffing, and resources. In short, formative assessment supported by technology creates a win for every stakeholder. When I started exploring these tools, I thought of them as add-ons, something nice to have when time allowed. But after researching, writing, and building my innovation plan, my perspective has shifted. I now see formative assessment through technology as essential. It transforms the way students learn, the way directors teach, and the way administrators, parents, and caretakers understand what we do. It excites me to imagine what this could mean, not just for UIL preparation, but for student musicianship long term. Imagine students leaving middle school not just knowing how to play notes, but knowing how to listen critically, adjust independently, and reflect their progress. That's a life skill, not just a music skill. Formative assessment in music isn't about replacing tradition. It's about blending it with innovation so that every rehearsal becomes a space for growth. My hope is that through tools like Edpuzzle, Smart Music, and Tonal Energy, we build classrooms where students aren't just performers, they're thinkers, creators, and owners of their own learning. That's the vision behind my article, my innovation plan, and my work as a band director. Thank you for listening. If you want to learn more, visit jenniferhaydeneportfolio.com.